All right, let's jump right into a really big question, something that's at the heart of, well, everything. What exactly is belief? We often think the answer is simple, but it turns out to be way more complex than it first seems.
So, let's start with the most basic question of all. Does believing in something actually require you to think it through logically, or could it be something else entirely?
For basically centuries, the answer to that question has usually fallen into one of two camps. It's the classic age-old debate, right? The head versus the heart.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the rational view. This is the idea that belief is all about thinking. You observe, you analyze, you reflect, and then you come to a logical conclusion. Thought is the absolute foundation here. But then on the other side, you have the emotional view. This one argues that, nope, belief starts as a gut feeling. It's that intuition, that sense that something just rings true, and our brain only comes in later to try and justify what we already feel.
But here's a thought. What if this isn't an either-or question? What if there's a third path, one that brings both of those ideas together? Well, that's exactly what we find in Arreqqana philosophy, which introduces this really powerful concept they call resonance.
The Arreqqana term is kyo-nure, which we translate as resonance. And what it is this incredible state of alignment between your mind, your heart, and what they call your flame, which is kind of like your core essence, your spirit. So in this view, belief isn't just some logical statement you agree with. It's more like a frequency that you tune into. It's that moment when your entire being is just humming in agreement.
And this idea just frames it so beautifully. Think about it. Thinking is what gives a name to the truth. Feeling is what hears its melody. But true belief, in this sense, is when you actually vibrate with that truth. It becomes this active, living, harmonious state.
So, to really get this, the Arreqqana tradition breaks belief down into 3 interconnected levels, and each one corresponds to a different part of who we are: the mind, the heart, and the flame.
So we have Kora, which is the mind, and it's all about seeking and understanding. Then comes Nabar, the heart, which is about feeling and trusting. And finally, there's Taha, the flame, which is about living that belief, really embodying it. Let's take a look at each one.
So, level 1, Kora, is where belief often starts, as a thought. It's that natural human impulse to observe things, to ask questions, to find the patterns. This is what the Arreqqana call faith through logic. Basically, you trust something because you understand its structure, you get its harmony, it just makes sense.
And this verse just perfectly captures that idea. The mind is searching for a tone of peace inside all the chaos and information, and it's through reason that the song of understanding finally starts to play.
Now we get to the second level, Nomar, or the heart's belief. And here the whole question shifts. It's no longer, is this logical? Instead, it becomes, does this feel true? This is all about that emotional resonance, connecting with truth through things like beauty or empathy or compassion. They say the mind draws the map, but it's the heart that lights the path.
This verse just says it all, doesn't it? The heart can grasp truths that are way beyond words or simple logic. And I find this part so powerful. Compassion is the proof of truth. So in this view, compassion isn't just some nice emotion. It's a form of evidence. It's proof that you've tapped into something deeply true.
And finally, we reach the highest level, Taha, the flame's belief. Now this is where belief moves beyond both thought and feeling and becomes embodiment. It's wisdom in action. The teachings say, the flame does not debate fire, it simply burns. It's about living your truth so fully, so completely, that no explanation is even needed. You just are it.
This final verse connects belief directly to what you do. It's through your integrity, through your service to others, through how you actually show up in the world, that a belief stops being just an internal state and becomes a living, breathing reality.
Now, here's a really crucial point. These aren't 3 steps you climb and then just leave behind. The Arreqqana tradition sees them more like a spiral, where each level is constantly feeding and deepening the others in this amazing cycle of harmony.
So, to sum it all up, the mind seeks and gives a name to truth. The heart feels and learns to trust that truth. And the flame lives and radiates that truth out into the world. A true, resonant belief happens when all 3 are singing the same song in perfect harmony. To bring this all home, there's a really beautiful closing chant in the Arreqqana teachings that just captures this whole idea. It's called the tri-thread of belief.
First, from the mind comes clarity.
the power to see and to understand.
Next, from the heart comes warmth, the compassion that gives all that clarity its meaning.
And from the flame comes grace, the integrity you see in a truth that is fully lived.
And when those three threads are woven together into one, belief is no longer just an idea or an emotion. It becomes a state of being. It becomes resonance.
So ultimately, maybe belief doesn't require just thinking or just feeling. Maybe true deep belief is simply the harmony between what we know in our minds, what we feel in our hearts, and how we choose to live our lives. A final thought to leave you with. Thanks for joining me.